If it's August on YouTube, then that means it's time to start fall crafting. Today, I've put together some viewer favorites to get you into the fall crafting spirit. So let's get started. For this first fall craft, we're going to be making this crate pumpkin. I'm repurposing two crates from another project and I'm going to attach them together using the super glue fix-all adhesive and dabs of hot glue. Now, I know y'all always ask us crafters on YouTube, what do you do with your finished projects? Well, some of them, and it depends on who it is, some of them I sell, some I give away, and some I repurpose, like I'm doing here. So once I have them glued together, we're going to set that aside to dry. It doesn't take long because that fix-all adhesive sets very quickly. Then I'm going to give this entire piece, front, back, sides, the whole 9 yards, one good coat of the pumpkin chalk paint. And of course, you can choose whatever color suits your fall decor. So, because you know me, I love rustic and I love farmhouse, I'm taking this stencil brush and some antique wax and I'm dirtying it up. Once I apply it with the brush, I'm taking a paper towel and rubbing it in just to make it look more natural. If there It's not natural, guys. There's no such thing as a square pumpkin. But anyway, I especially pay attention to the edges and the grooves on the little crates. And I do use the antique wax on all the sides of my pumpkin. If we haven't met yet, my name is Robin, and I'm so glad that you stopped by and decided to sit around my craft table today. If you're returning or one of my subscribers, you guys know I appreciate you more than you will ever know. And I'm very grateful for everyone that tunes in each week to watch me craft. Now that the paint is dry, it's time to embellish. You can do this any way you want. So sometimes these fall florals, or any florals actually, they get crumpled up from being in storage, or especially Dollar Tree, they just cram them in there. So one cool hack to make them uncrumpled is to just blast them lightly with your heat gun or even your hair dryer on a high setting. Just make sure that you don't melt the plastic, but this is a great trick to straighten out those unruly florals and leaves. Now, you can use anything you'd like for your stem, but one of my favorite things to use for the stem of my pumpkins is cinnamon sticks. They smell good, and it's just something a little bit different that you can use to put on top of your pumpkin. So you can embellish it any way you like. I'm just adding some Spanish moss and leaves. You could add some fall flowers, acorns, whatever you'd like. It's up to you. Like I said, this is the fun part, and I'm here strictly for inspiration. So check out how cute this pumpkin crate is. I absolutely love it. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Dollar Tree comes out with these pumpkins on a stand every year. So, the first thing I'm going to do with some gentle persuasion is to remove this top layer of fabric. It's some type of burlap. So, I'm just ripping it. And as you'll see, I had to take my scissors, cut part of it away, but being very careful not to break it because I want to put the pumpkin back onto the stand. Next, I'm taking my sanding block and sanding it smooth because we're going to cover this with some absolutely gorgeous scrapbook paper that I got from Hobby Lobby. If you love fall and fall crafting, guys, I am just getting started. So if you are enjoying this video and you like what you see so far, it would mean a lot to me if you would go down and smash that like button. give this video a big thumbs up. That just lets me know that you like the crafts that you're seeing here today, and it would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so using a combination of my penknife and my heat gun, I am going to remove the pumpkin from the base, being as careful as I can because, as I said, once we attach the scrapbook paper to the pumpkin, we're going to put this piece back together again. This one was being somewhat of a pain, but again, with some gentle persuasion, I did get the pumpkin and the base apart. Then I just took my penknife and scraped out some of that glue and whatever else was down inside that base so that we could have a fresh start when we put it back together. I then just traced my pumpkin out onto some very pretty scrapbook paper, cut it out, and then attached it back to the pumpkin using a glue stick. You could certainly use Mod Podge, whatever kind of glue you'd like. For simple things like this, I choose my glue stick. The Jock glue sticks from Dollar Tree work great. So do the Elmer's glue sticks. And with it being back to school time, you can probably get the really good Elmer's disappearing purple glue sticks pretty cheap right now. Now, once the glue had dried and everything was set, I took my finger sander and went along all the edges of the pumpkin to remove the excess paper. To me, this gives the cleanest look to your project by doing it this way. It's a whole lot easier than trying to remove the excess paper with an X-Acto knife or a blade or what have you. So once that was done, I decided to cover the stem of my pumpkin just using some jute twine from the Dollar Tree, and I did wrap it all the way up, barely using any hot glue. To put the two pieces back together, I'm using my hot glue, putting a little bit on the bottom of the pumpkin and then into the base itself. Being careful not to put too much because I don't want it oozing out. I just love this scrapbook paper. It has all of the darker colors that I tend to lean towards for the fall season. Of course, you can use whatever kind of paper you'd like. I would love to have more of that paper. But anyway, I'm taking some of this berry garland from the Dollar Tree and just wrapping it around my pencil. We're going to make some little curly cues to put at the top of the pumpkin. I chose to keep this one simple. I didn't add a lot to it because I just absolutely love that paper and I really wanted it to be the star of the show. So I attached my little curly cues or tendrils to the stem with just a dot of hot glue. Sometimes all these Dollar Tree pieces need is just a simple makeover. And as you've seen, all this took was some scrapbook paper, a few little embellishments, and I think these colors are gorgeous. You guys let me know what color scheme you're going with for fall. Is it the darker colors or the more pastels? I hit the jackpot when I found this yard version of a Jenga type game. It was an Amazon return. I paid $10 for the entire thing. And let me tell you, this is solid wood and I can't believe my luck. I think I found it a year or so ago. But anyway, you could probably find something similar right about now at, say, Five Below or maybe Ross, Burlington, maybe even Walmart. So I'm going to take three pieces, and as you see here, I'm giving them all a good sand with my electric sander. I always sand down anything that's real wood before I start to paint it. It just helps the wood accept the paint or whatever you're going to be doing to it a little bit better. And yeah, I should have done this outside because I ended up having yellow dust everywhere. So, most definitely be on the lookout for this type of a yard game this time of year because there are so many possibilities, so many things that you can make with these. All right, so I'm going to stack the three together using a combination of the super glue wood glue and some regular Gorilla hot glue. And I will say that I have made several of these, I don't know what you want to call them. We're going to turn this one into kind of a pumpkin looking thing, but I have sold so many of these and I only paid $10 guys for the whole bag. And I mean, I forget how many pieces are in there, but there are still like a gazillion blocks in that bag. So it's a great seller, and these are wood for sure. So once I had them attached together with my glue, I used this clamp, set it aside for a few hours to cure. Now I am painting it with the pumpkin color chalk paint by Waverly, front, back, sides, bottom, the whole 9 yards. Of course, you can use whatever color you would like. Now, while the paint was still tacky, I took my antique wax with another chip brush and just glided it into the pumpkin color paint while it was still tacky. Now, if I got a little bit too much antique wax, I would go back over it with the pumpkin color, and I'm basically just blending those two colors together, and I just keep doing this method until I'm satisfied with the way that it looks. I also think that each block painted a different color would be really cool too. So my wheels are already turning for ways that I can use them for this fall and even for Christmas. For this particular one, I did use my Cricut. I know not everyone has one. There are so many stencils available at a very reasonable price. I know that Hobby Lobby has some really nice stencils. Amazon is absolutely loaded with them. There are lots and lots of websites that have stencils. You don't have to put any words on it at all. If you do this, you can use scrap wood. You don't necessarily have to have, of course, these blocks, but any kind of scrap wood that you have laying around, you could get the same general craft. So just use your imagination. What would you put on something like this? Would you put words? Would you leave it plain? Would you draw it? I don't know, draw a picture on it. I really can't draw. So anyway, throw your ideas out there to me. What would you put on something like this? So now I wanted the white vinyl to not look so just stark and to make it more um no, what am I trying to say? To make it blend in just a little bit better, I'm using my chippy brush and the antique wax and just going over it very, very lightly. And I do take the antique wax and hit all of the edges of the boards. Now, I found this broken piece of wood out in the yard. I have no idea where it came from, but I thought the size and the shape, I mean, it was broken like that. And I'm like, oh, that would be a cool stem. So I had to turn this thing into a pumpkin or whatever you want to call it. But I kept the embellishments very simple with just some Spanish moss and some leaves. Of course, get creative, add to it what you want. This is by far my favorite fall craft probably ever in the history of my channel. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. For this fall DIY craft, we're once again going to be giving a makeover to a Dollar Tree sign. Except this time we're going to be doing some decoupage with a napkin. So, the first order of business, as always, with Dollar Tree signs is to remove all the glitter. And to do this, I am just using my finger sander, which I do have linked below in my Amazon store if you're interested. Now, in addition to removing the glitter, I also sanded all the sides and the edges. Now, because my napkin is dark, I'm giving the top of the sign and the sides 2 coats of a brown acrylic paint. You could use chalk paint if you like. I suppose I could have used a lighter color, but for some reason I chose brown, which is perfectly fine. So I'll paint the front and all the sides using this color. Guys, if you are still here with me and you are enjoying this video, then please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're still watching, leave me a sunflower emoji in the comments. If you don't have emojis, you can just type out the word sunflower. I love reading all your comments. So be sure to let me know also which one of these DIYs is your favorite from today. Now, once the paint is dried, I'm going to give the top only a good coat of Mod Podge, spreading it out pretty even. And once that's done, I'm going to set this piece aside and let it dry totally. I then cut out my napkin, removed all of the plies except for the top pretty one, and I will be using the iron-on method. Now, I know most of you have seen this method 1,000 times, so this is 1,001. But no, um, it's very easy. This is actually what got me to love Mod Podge is the iron-on method. So the important part is to make sure your Mod Podge is completely dry and that you have removed all of the plies of your napkin except for the very top ply. You're then going to take a piece of parchment paper and an iron. A household iron will work as long as you do not use steam. And you're going to run your iron over the parchment paper, especially getting on the edges of your project. And what this does, it reactivates the Mod Podge or the glue, because the Mod Podge is essentially glue. And this is what will give you the smoothest, wrinkle-free decoupage project in the world. I promise. Okay. So once I have done that, and this is also important, once you have run your iron over your project, let that cool completely. Then go back in with your top layer of Mod Podge as a sealer, just like I'm doing here. And I have a little overhang, but we will take care of that in just a couple of minutes. So once that top layer of Mod Podge has dried completely, I once again grab my finger sander and go along all the edges, taking off that excess napkin for the perfect professional finish, in my opinion. This just gives your projects such a professional finished look by using the sanding method. You can use just a piece of sandpaper, you could use a nail file, something to get rid of that excess paper. Then to finish this off, it needed a little something. So in the upper left-hand corner, I made a small messy bow with some scrap pieces of ribbon, added a little sunflower, and this one is done. Another easy Dollar Tree sign makeover that is ready for fall, and I love it. I love the colors in this. I think it's so pretty. Use any napkin. Napkins are such an inexpensive way to decorate for fall. I want you all to know how much I appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out around the craft table with me today. I hope I've inspired you to get started with your fall crafting because I haven't even begun yet. But I do have a special little announcement. 11 days from today, August the 22nd, is my birthday. Now, I don't want any presents or anything like that. Instead, I want to give you guys a chance to enter to win some gifts from me. I'm not going to tell you what they are. It could be anything from handy dandy craft supplies or tools, maybe something I've made, gift cards to a craft store. So, in order not to miss your opportunity to enter to win throughout the month of August, be sure to watch my community tab, watch the videos that I'm going to be publishing, because you never know where your chance to enter to win is going to pop up. So, stick around. You don't want to miss August. I'm excited. I'm really, really excited. And as always, thank you guys so much for hanging in there with me. You're the best. And if you're still in the mood for more fall crafts, be sure to check out the playlist on your screen right now. I'll see you over there. And until next time, y'all go get your craft on. Bye.